So if I die on stage, at least I've got something to be buried in. Now, this may come as a startling revelation to a lot of you, but I do get called Jesus pretty much everywhere I go, and I must admit it really does annoy me, because I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in Zeus, I don't believe in Krishna, and I don't believe in he should not be reproduced in Danish satirical cartoons. I think that Mormon has one and too many. And I think that Allah is something that a magician shouts when he jumps into a steaming hot bath. But I get called Jesus everywhere I go, and I've got to bear it really. I mean, I don't judge those who call me Jesus. I mean, they know not what they do. And let's face it, if you've got long hair and a beard, it is a cross that you're going to have to bear. And I bear it a little too well now, to the point where I've really got to fight the urge, like when I'm walking past a street preacher, to not grab the Bible from their hands and ask them who they would like me to make it out to. And the only thing that's stopping me, a hangover is the only thing that's stopping me on a Sunday from kicking down the church doors and shouting, "For Dad's sake, I'm up." Now, I'm not the only Jesus I know. I know several other Jesus. We regularly meet at a Jesus Not So Anonymous meeting, where we're going to fight each other from cutting each other's hair and saying, "Don't, it's what everybody wants you to do." But this can be awfully confusing, I've noticed, like when walking with other GSI, for members of the public to get very confused as to what to shout at us. So I've come up with some little tips for people. Like if you've got one Jesus, like this one here, and that's a Jesus. That's pretty simple. Everybody gets at it seems, as they're walking around. Any more than one, and you go into GSI, that is plural. But if you have multiples of 3, then you can trade in your GSIs for a Holy Trinity. Otherwise known as God cubed, for all the mass stands out there. So yeah, when I'm not being called Jesus, like I've got a job, and but before I had a job, I was unemployed, which I don't really need to say that because that's a natural course in which things go. I mean, and I was struggling to find a job. I mean, jobs don't grow on trees these days, unless you're an apple picker. A lot of jobs put obstacles like in your way, I found, like, and I've been turned down for a lot of jobs, and I went into one place and it was already there laid out for me. There was a hoop, there was a ramp, there was another hoop and 4 cones laid out. I thought, right, okay, I can't face going to the job centre again now. Might have been Linda staring down into my eyes, trying to suck my dreams away. It is an abattoir of dreams, and I didn't want to go back there, so I thought, right, show some initiative. Everybody's come in there, said, "Hello, I'm this, that, the other. Here's my qualifications, here's my experience." I thought, no, I'm going to jump straight through the hoop, up the ramp, left, right, through the cones. I did it in record time. I was very impressed, but I didn't get that admin position at Pets at Home. Which, admittedly, I was a little chewed up about. Newspapers are dangerous things, aren't they? I mean, I don't know how to handle them. I was on the train once, and some guy asked me if I could pass him a copy of the Daily Mail across, and as soon as I grabbed hold of it, I just shouted, "Polish Muslims give cancer to working families!" I'm like, what the fucking hell is that? "Oh, I see it's your first time you've ever picked up a Daily Mail copy." I said, "Don't worry, the hatred will soon subside." He asked me to pass him the Daily Star, and last thing I knew, I woke up in hospital. I'd lost all basic motor functions and just became an erection purely on sport. And, but yeah, the thing is, I mean, I've become quite distrustful of society in a sense because I'm a part of it. Like I used to work as a waiter, and the only good thing I managed to actually do in that job was to turn a white dress into a red one. It's all in the wrist. It's much easier than it sounds, I can assure you. But I've become quite distrustful, and there was once a time like I was really low and I was really pessimistic, and it'd been a pretty long weekend. I'd been out for about 3-4 days, and my legs just gave way, like in the street. Like there must have been a union meeting gone upstairs, like which I wasn't aware of. And they're like, "Right, Anthony, this is your cerebral cortex talking to you now. We've had a chat with the legs, and the legs aren't happy. They've not had rest. They're overworked. They're under finance. So what they've done now is they've let it go, and I just dropped like a bag of imaginables. And I was a bit banged my head really hard on the table. I banged my head really hard on the floor. I did hit it pretty hard, so I made confusion with the table. But yeah, and I was feeling really dizzy, and there was some blood coming out of there, and I thought, that's me over and done with, isn't it? Well, I didn't think I was going to die. I'm not that dramatic, for God's sake. I could wake up as anybody with all the things that go on in this head. But I noticed this figure, this blurred figure running across the road, like it was in a heartbeat of me hitting the ground, and I thought, do you know what? Somebody's actually run to my aid. He doesn't know who I am. I've fallen on my own fault. He's coming here now. I couldn't see him until he got closer. My vision focused, and he had this angelic face of, "I'm going to help you." And he leans down, gets his phone out of his pocket, and takes a selfie. "Cheers, Jesus!" and just runs away, leaving me in quite a vulnerable state of mind. But I've often been asked like what I would do if I was wrong about life, and that there is a heaven, and I'm going to be judged about it. And I used to think for a moment, and then said, well, it's warm, and I already know most of the people there. I've been Anthony Rodden, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Rodden! Superb, Anthony, thank God you're here tonight. That's all we can say to that. Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. We're going to move swiftly on now. Please, 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 put your hands together for one of the good guys of our comedy. Come on, let's put your hands together, hands together, hands together.